Good evening from London.
And from
And
Mechanicsville this time.
it's so lovely to see you, Poppet. I can just about see you a little bit pixely, but you're here.
I am.
It's so nice to see you. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm absolutely knackered. I'm so knackered, Val, that I need to put matchsticks in my eyes. I had the most magical weekend of my life, but it's been amazing. But I have to say that I'm crawling into bed after this show.
I do not blame you. I really don't.
I know we haven't chatted much this week. It's been pretty crazy busy my end. Hopefully the next week's going to be a lot easier, but we have an amazing show tonight. We have some wonderful ladies joining us, which I'm going to bring on in a minute. But as usual, I just want to welcome everyone to Wicked Women, the podcast that just keeps giving and we're not afraid to tackle any taboo. And I have passed out our details so much this weekend that there are extra people watching us, both male and female this time. And I noticed the Instagram page is getting bigger. And one thing I was saying to the ladies just now when we were doing some of the checks is that if everyone knew the story of us and our background, they would know what warriors we really are. And the fact that we come to this show with quite a bit of knowledge. And if we can help one woman make a difference, then that's what we're here for.
And that camera's backwards, so every time I do something, I'm like doing it outside. So
Yeah, your connection's not great. You're quite pixely. I don't know why, because you're at your daughter's, aren't you?
no, I'm in Mechanicsville.
Okay. Oh, I see. All right. Okay, I get it now. Well, we've got you, and that's the main thing. So I'm going to bring in some of our lovely ladies one at a time because I think we should introduce you to them. One of our ladies we already know. She was here on our first episode because the lovely Val was not well, and she's here tonight, and she has got a lot of experience under her belt with her own life and her own situation, and she brings quite the feisty element to us. So I'm going to bring in the lovely Carly. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
It's lovely to have you here. Look, Val, you're in the middle of us now.
I'm in the middle.
It's a Val sandwich.
It's a Val sandwich. And you know what, Val? I can't think of a nicer sandwich. I'm also really excited as well because I have two other ladies here tonight. And Val, your reception is coming and going, so please forgive us if we don't get you. That's perfect. Don't move.
Okay.
And by the way, Val, you look really lovely. You look amazing. We have two other ladies here tonight, and I'm very proud to say that one of them is from the United Kingdom. And she's a fantastic young lady, and she's full of strong opinions, and I absolutely think she'd be fantastic. So let's say hello to Cassie. How you doing?
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, Cassie. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you very much. I'm doing very well, thank you, Wendy.
And you look beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's two blondes and a brunette. Well, actually, it's two blondes, a redhead, and a brunette. And I think we need to bring in the other brunette in because she's sitting in the wings waiting. And I am absolutely thrilled to say that Calgary joins us tonight. I am so made up to have Kay here from Calgary because you all know how much Canada means to me. So she's a wonder. This lady is and may I just say these words, a fucking warrior. And she has gone through so much shit. She's beautiful and intelligent, and I think you guys will love her. So let's bring her in. Hello, Kay.
Hi guys.
Talk
Hi.
about a welcome woman.
Hello.
You can pay me later. It's okay.
Thank you, Wendy. I love you.
Welcome to the show where Val and I are truly outnumbered by brunettes tonight and a redhead.
Love it. Need one of each always.
It's so nice to have a full panel. And you know, the thing about when Val and I started, we were like, it's going to get better. It's going to get stronger. And we're going to have some amazing women come on and join us. Maybe not every week, but they're going to come on. And we're here to pass a message on to other women, which is like, you're not alone. And we also know what you all go through. And we like to kick ass. And tonight, Val, tell us, what is the subject?
Something I know nothing about, actually.
Are you
I'll
sure?
be learning with everybody else. Revenge sex.
Revenge.
I honestly don't know anything about it, so I'm here to learn tonight.
Well, you see, it was brought up to me in the week. Somebody said to me, will you cover the subject of revenge sex? And I was like, that's an interesting topic. And they said, you know, the kind of sex you have when someone's really hurt you, or, you know, or you're not getting it from someone and you go and get it elsewhere or whatever. That's the kind of revenge sex. And I was like, we can handle it. So, Carly, what's your sort of intake of revenge sex?
Oh boy, I get asked first.
Yeah, you're in the deep end.
Well, I mean, I would have to say that not currently, but when the time warrants it, sometimes revenge sex is necessary.
Absolutely.
If you know what I'm saying.
Phil Guy says he wishes he had revenge sex. Poor Phil Guy.
We need to make the app, remember? We're going to make an app so we can help Field Guy and other single guys get together with other single women.
Matchmakers.
And then we've got a Roger that says, wowzers, let me grab a towel and a smoke and a cool drink. This intro is steamy. Well, we aim to please. And Phil Guy, I'm just going to run through some of these comments. Phil Guy, showing my butt again. Should I get paid for that? Are you really sure that's your arse we're seeing? Phil Guy says, learning the woman code, one show at a time. Hi, Colleen. She says, good evening. And then we have Hydra Salesman. Happy to say I know one of your guests pretty well. She's a champion. Do we know who that is?
I think you might know, Wendy.
Oh, okay. Steph is here as well. She says, hello, lovely ladies. And Phil Guy, good Lord, I'm going to die tonight. So yes, we have a 50% panel tonight, and this is what Val and I were kind of hoping that we would have different ladies on. So I'm going to go over to Calgary right now and tell me, what is your view of revenge sex, Kay?
Oh, so many things. The old me has so many things to say. The new me has so many things to say. Wendy, I know you can attest to the counselor in us has so many things to say. I like to say I remain neutral to it's good and it's, I don't like to say negative or positive. It's just one's shadow and one's light. And what do you get out of it, really?
Yeah. You know, I like the old me versus the new me. So what would the old me say?
Well, if we're going into personal experiences, but not going too personal, I think the old me when I was young in my 20s, it was like I had my heart so deeply broken. And I'm just like, I need to get over this so quickly. Like, I just need to take it out on somebody. The poor guy I took it out on. How you were saying earlier, you know? And anyway, but you live and you learn. And the me today would say, there's always a driving factor to it, right? It's like, well, why do we do it? And I think the root cause of it is, well, you had somebody hurt you And now you're coming from a place of, I want love and acceptance. I feel like my power was taken away. I want to get my power back, but how do I do that? So yes, you might feel for a little while that, okay, I got my power back. I feel good about it. But then how does it really leave you at the end of that? You know, I think so many times it's like, well, what if you had the one night stand and now you're like, oh, well, I wish that guy saw me in this way, or they saw me in that way. And you're just going through this, recapitulating a toxic trait again into the next man that you're trying to, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But is that, would you consider that revenge sex or rebound sex?
I think they almost kind of sometimes fall into the same category. Like, I really think that they do, because, I mean, you can say it's revenge, but then oftentimes it turns into a rebound, and then maybe that leads into a relationship. It's so many individual circumstances, right?
Well, I mean, usually when you think of rebound relationships or sex, either one, it's helping yourself get over something.
Mm-hmm.
Helping you get over your last relationship or what have you.
Right.
When you think of revenge sex, you think of, I'm going to do this to hurt somebody else.
Right.
I can also say that I think with revenge sex, it also can be like if you've been hurt, you don't quite, as Val said, you want to, feel that pain taken away from you, and perhaps you also want to hurt someone. But what about when it's also done to you? Like, for instance, you're with someone and perhaps they're not getting it, or whatever the subject could be that they might be thinking of, and they go out and get it from someone else. Cassie, do you think that revenge sex is something that, you've heard that old saying, to get over someone, you have to get underneath another one. Do you think that that's always, is there a positive thing, or can that be quite a damaging thing? I guess it could be both.
It is both, absolutely. I think that in a way it's positive in the moment, definitely for somebody, because it's that rush of endorphins and everything that definitely makes people feel better about themselves. It can be a really good boost of self-esteem to know that you're wanted by somebody after you've had your heart broken. But I think obviously it's such a negative issue though, because it can cause so many problems afterwards. If you're somebody who's very emotionally connected to people or to events, then just that one act of revenge sex can actually be you can psychologically connect to that event every time you think of the person that you wanted to hurt, or the person that hurt you, for example. So it ends up being a longer lasting thing, I think, which I think is it ends up being more negative than it is positive for somebody.
She's so wise.
Positive to personal experience, I think, as well.
I was looking at why people have revenge sex, and there are many different reasons why people have revenge sex, mostly if they've been cheated on, because obviously they feel like, well, let's give you a taste of your own medicine, right? Let's see how you like it. And in a way that's kind of expressing your anger and taking back control, like Kay talks about, taking back her power, taking back the control. You could slash his tires. That would be an expensive way to show, how dare you do that to me? But I think, I get it, and I use a personal experience, and maybe we can all talk about some of ours. But one of mine was that I found out I was being cheated on, and he denied it, and he denied until I found enough proof to stick it in front of him and go, there you go. And I remember we had, I went round there and we had amazing revenge sex. And I remember at the end of it, he was like, oh my God, that was amazing. That was amazing. And oh my God. And I went, did you enjoy that? He was like, I absolutely did. I went, good, because it's the last fucking time you'll ever do it. And that's what I mean by revenge. So that's one of my stories. So I'm going to hear one of yours now. Come on, out with it, girls. Spill it.
I don't have any. I'm out of this one.
Carly, let's bring you in. Come on.
Oh, me first again?
Yeah.
No, Wendy went first. It's your turn now.
I really
Well,
hope not.
well, I mean, as I said, not speaking of, I'm gonna start blushing. Not speaking of currently, because I've been with my husband for almost 14 years now. But back in the day, in my 20s and all that, yeah, I definitely made some poor decisions. I got cheated on and found stuff on their phones, and they didn't tell me and lied. And then, they ended up being in the shower, and I looked at their phone, which I normally didn't do, and found text messages. And that happened with several ex-boyfriends. And yeah, it was a couple of them I might have gone out and, found his best friend, or, found somebody close to
You
him,
may have.
or just go to a different area code.
Yes, I love that.
So I will say that in the moment it's helpful, yeah, but afterwards not necessarily always, but sometimes yeah.
Did it make you feel better?
It depends on which situation we were talking about, but yes, overall, yes, it actually did make me feel better. It
It
was
did.
like it was like getting closure. It was like getting, hey, you get what you did back to me. Like you said, you get your own medicine. So you're gonna treat me horrible and cheat on me and hide it behind me and be talking at other girls on your phone and sending pictures and all kinds of things when they had strict rules on me and our relationship. You better believe I went and got some revenge sex.
Oh my God.
But I think you also have to be careful, because it can hurt you can hurt yourself doing something like that.
Yeah.
Emotionally more so than physically, but I guess it depends on who you get a hold of. But I if you do it for the wrong reasons, I think sometimes it can hurt as much as help.
I think obviously you could say that it could hurt in both ways. It can make you feel better and it can make you feel worse. But I also think as well, sometimes women feel like we have completely lost our power and our control.
Yeah.
We have been worn down to nothing. We've either been rejected by a man, or we have been completely put down, whether it's mentally or physically. And it's kind of like, I need to do something to get my power back. And, I'm coming to Cassie and Kay now. Like, what do you ladies can give me of experiences of what you've been through?
Yeah, I think even what you were just saying, Wendy, really, this was like way early on for me when I had like my first love, my first heartbreak, finding out about it. And it wasn't always just the revenge sex piece. Like, yes, that happened, but there was also, I almost went through a phase of, I wouldn't call it promiscuity or serial dating, but it was just like, I'm going to bring this guy in. I'm going to crush his heart. When he falls in love, I am walking away. And it kind of just went into a place where, well, what you were saying, Cassie, like from a physiological standpoint, you're getting your dopamine hits, you're getting your norepinephrine hits. You feel really good when you're on that high of like, I have my power. I can stomp on all these men's heart and it doesn't matter. I don't care. I became ruthless. But then I lost sight of what is a healthy relationship, because I got so caught up in the power trip of, okay, I like this, I like it too much. And then how do you start backtracking from there? That leads into causing more drama in your life. And again, Cassie, what you were saying with the connectivity piece in your energy, it starts draining it immensely. So I think it turned into a very negative aspect quickly.
Yeah, I can imagine so. I don't have personal experience, thankfully. Well, I mean, I suppose it could be a good thing in some cases to have the experience, but I don't have personal experience with that, luckily. I've obviously had heartbreaks in the past. I've had a couple of boyfriends before my current boyfriend, who I've been with the longest, but I'm not necessarily somebody who, I don't really find a thrill from sex. Like, it's not really something that I am constantly after. It's just a very private and small thing for me. So no, I've not really had a heartbreak and felt like I've wanted to get revenge in any kind of like intimate way with someone else from an ex-partner. So yeah, I can't really add an opinion on personal experience, really.
Have you had a moment in your life where maybe you've not had the revenge sex, but you've wanted to get revenge on an emotional way with a guy?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. My ex-boyfriend that I was with before my current boyfriend, he just kind of he disappeared out of nowhere, and he wouldn't talk to me for a few days, and then he suddenly came out of nowhere and said, "I've just added loads of shifts onto my work schedule, and I'm sorry, you live too far away, and bye." And he left, and I was so heartbroken by it because I admired his work standard. He tried to help me with, dieting and things like that to get me onto like the what do you call it? Like working out and stuff like that. He tried to help me with that. So I really did admire the way that he worked so much for his money. He was able to pay for like quite expensive things that he wanted. I really admired that of him. But at the same time, the way that he left, and I look back on it now and I think I really wish I never would have had that relationship, because of the things that he said and did to me. They quite hurt me, and I didn't realize it at the time. But yeah, definitely afterwards, I was like, I'm getting back onto dating sites. And I'm going to find somebody
Yeah.
just to spite him. I absolutely wanted to do that.
The
So
rebound of it's wanting to feel good about yourself as well, because
yeah, absolutely.
They take away your self-esteem, and as us women, we tend to go, or rather, I think as we get older, we hold it back more. But I think when we're younger, I think women definitely give their confidence, their self-esteem away to a guy easily. And as we get older, we go, work for it, baby, work for it, because you're not having it. Do you find that, Carly? Do you find that, Val?
Damn straight. I mean, I still being married, I still have people coming at me and just ridiculous stuff. Can I get pics? Will you send me content? I need pictures. I want this. I want that. Like, are you serious? I'm married.
Yeah.
Guys are pigs nowadays, and the internet and social media and all the social media platforms, as good as they are, like YouTube, for us to be able to do this, they're also horrible platforms because applications like Snapchat are basically made specifically to be sending hidden pictures that are going to be deleted that your significant other won't be able to see. So like the world is already making it acceptable to have like open marriages and be that, and like I'm to each their own, but it's gotten bad though. Men are awful nowadays. There's no boundaries with them. I don't know what happened, but I think it's the flood of them having so much access to free porn all the time that they just think that they should get it from anybody for free at any time. But yeah.
Well, I think that even the word is so much different now than it was, even 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's like I don't know, it's the sanctity of marriage and it's changed so much that nobody really takes it as seriously as they should.
I think you're right. I think it's so easy to throw things away, and Snapchat is still a thing. And I think I would be wary. I mean, I don't have Snapchat. I've never had Snapchat. I would be very wary of dating a guy if he had Snapchat, because it would be like there's the opportunity. But any social media, obviously, any social media they could do that on. I mean, Kay, you can get this like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, all this stuff. It just breeds, it's so
Yeah, and
easy.
I think
There's also porn sites, and not even porn sites, but what is it like? Not getting it at home, or is your girlfriend holding back from you? And the next thing you know, it's like, why don't you just dial this number? And the next thing you know, there's a woman waiting for you. It's like, that's how easy it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so if we were to look at it, let's look at it from the other way. So what if a guy was to get revenge sex on us? So let's look at all the things when he's not getting it. There's an emotional blockage between us. He's got low self-esteem, whatever. Could we forgive a guy who went and had revenge sex?
Well, I think when it comes down to it, if you're
Like
not
on
giving it,
us?
yeah,
Revenge
like
sex
if
to
guys,
us, you're meaning?
you mean if
Okay.
we're the person that is getting the revenge, or is that your question, Wendy?
Yeah, yeah.
I can attest to that. No,
I
I was
mean,
gonna
honestly,
say, if you're in a marriage and the man wants to go have revenge sex, if they want to cheat, it's like if you're not giving it, what do you expect? Especially if that comes of high priority to them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm with someone and I feel the need to get revenge sex on me, then the other person can have them because I don't need that.
Absolutely.
That, I mean, that's if it's to that point, then that relationship is pretty much away. I mean,
I
if you're
think
trying to hurt me doing something like that, I don't have time for that.
I mean, what Cassie said was very good points about, the fact that it's psychologically, because a lot of people have revenge sex, because for that moment, for that time, you feel alive, you feel like wanted, you feel like you have power back, and it will block. Maybe it may not block all the way through it, but it may block for a while, and it does trigger the release of oxytocin, which is the love hormone, right? So we all feel really, really good while it's going on. And it also can be anger. When I had my experience, I really wanted to hurt him, and the only way I could hurt him was to like give him what he wanted, make sure it was really, really good, and then go, "You're never going to have that again." And he was absolutely shocked that I could be that cold. And as I've got older and I've had relationships in my life, and I'm wondering if you ladies have, whether this be physical sex or whether this has been emotional because, we can have emotional sex. We don't always have to have the physical sex. We have the emotional side. But have you ladies had a point where you're trying to remember my point here, where it's like, you've got to a point with a guy and you're like, I want to hurt you. I want you to feel my pain. But then all of a sudden you realize the fact that it's a very negative thing to do, and you feel really bad about what you've done. You feel like you're really low for what you've done and you can't take it back. Has there been instances in your lives where you've had those, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, where you've gone, I wish I didn't do that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Nope. I felt better every single time. Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying. Well, there's no answer to that, really, is there, Carly? What about you, Kirsty? Like, if you had a situation, either physically or emotionally, where you've just gone like, I want to get revenge on this bastard, but then it made you feel bad?
Yeah, as I was saying, my ex-boyfriend from before my current boyfriend, I don't know what it was. It was just the way that he treated me, and I didn't realize it at the moment, at the time I was in it, because I felt so much more. He used to talk down to me, so I felt very kind of like I had to behave like a child. Because it's very much like if he called me and I didn't pick up, it was, where are you? Who are you with? Why are you not picking up the phone? And I kind of, at first, I was standing up for myself. And then I was like, oh, actually, this is my job as a woman. I'm supposed to submit to him. because he made me feel like that. You know, his idea of a perfect life was, I'm going to get a job that pays super, super well. He played in a band. He was very, very good at guitar, and he was already touring with a band. He wasn't making a lot of money from it, but he used to tutor kids as well. So he was like, "Don't worry, I'm going to make it really big in the music industry, and then I'll earn all the money, and then you can stay at home and you don't have to do anything." And towards the end of our relationship, where he started to not talk to me, I thought to myself, yeah, but I had a career in mind. Actually, you're talking down to me, and I'm forgetting that I actually wanted to be my own woman before I met you. And I'm not going to forget about that just because of you. I always wanted to be a forensic scientist, and I thought, I'm not going to give up on that just because some guy is telling me, don't worry, I'll earn all the money, you know? And then after that relationship happened, I was like, I'm going to get my back on you, and I'm going to make it more successful than you.
Absolutely.
And that was going to be my form of revenge. And unfortunately, my health isn't working out for me at the moment. So school and studying to do forensics is not really an option for me at the moment. But I will make it somehow, so that if I ever were to bump into him, I could be like, I am doing better than you because I'm standing up for myself and I'm being the woman that I always wanted to be.
I think the truth is you already are doing better than him, because the fact that you've actually gone to a point when you're like, I'm going to make the best of my life, no matter what the situation in my life brings me, is
Yeah.
absolutely 100% what you already done. I mean, there are so many reasons why we have revenge sex. It makes us feel physically attractive. It helps with negative feelings. It gives us lots of serotonin and dopamine, and it makes us feel wonderful. You can have great sex. I mean, like, you could come away and go, wow, chicka, wow, wow. That was just like, really, that was really good. That was really great. But do you think, and I use this as an example, there are cons of revenge sex, and I've been allowed to share this story with you tonight of the lady that asked me if we could cover this. She was dating a guy, and he was seen buying wine with another lady one night when he was supposed to be out with the lads, and she rang her up and said, hey, are you not seeing him tonight, because I just seen him at the off license buying some wine with another woman, and she was like, no, I'm not due to see him. Anyway, cut a long story short, the next night they saw each other. She asked him about his night, and he was like, no, I didn't do anything. No, I was just at home, just hanging out, just doing my own thing. So she said that she said her words were, and I quote, I shagged him rotten. And then when he was having a bath, I went and got his clothes for the next day and covered them in itching powder, which then obviously went really quiet. Obviously, like, she rubbed it in and everything. And she said next day he rang her up and said, there's something wrong with me. I just can't stop itching. I'm red. I'm really red. I can't stop. I'm really red. I'm itching. She's like, really? Oh my God, that's awful. No, he said, it's dreadful. It's all around my groin. It's down my legs. It's down my back. It's everywhere. And she said, she laughed, she laughed because she had a power, but she was like, I think I've got some sort of infection. And she was like, well, where would you have got that from? Where did that come from? Anyway, cut a long short, he, when he came around and he showed her the rash, she said, I know exactly where you got that from, and I can tell you who did it. And she caught him out. And I think she saw that it was, she wanted to make him suffer. And I think that that's an amazing thing to do. And here's a scenario, and I want to ask you ladies to perhaps give me all a story. Have you ever had sex with an ex to either get or to get emotionally involved with an ex again, to make him think you're going to get back with him, to lead him into a false sense of security, or to get back on him?
Uh-huh.
Al?
No.
Yep. Yep,
Is
I
that
had a boyfriend when I was 16. We dated for close to a year, and then he ghosted me. Back then, ghosting wasn't a term. He just stopped talking to me, stopped answering my texts and everything, and it really broke my heart. So a few years later, he reached out to me. So I was like, oh, okay. So I met up with him, and made him think that I was back into him and again, and might have even got him to the point of driving to my work when I was working midnights across the state line and delivering me flowers, for me to just end up telling him that it's not going to work out.
good for you? Good for you.
Amazing.
But you, Kay,
Yes, I did. I
can you share
definitely
that
did.
with?
Somebody that was in my life for years and years and years and had hurt me so badly with another woman, and I reeled him right back in when I was in a better place in life, and it felt really good at the time. When I look back now, I'm like, I don't feel that great about it, but I feel like when it comes to it now, I'm like, I don't think I was acting in a way that was better than what he did. I was just trying to screw with him like he screwed with me. But like I said, at the time, it felt great. I was just like, screw you. I hope this feels so shitty when I walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cassie, if you had the situation,
Do that, but
No, I have not been through that situation.
and I really hope you don't, because I think all of us can testify in one way or the other. And Val, Val, bless her, we can hear you, but it's coming and going, chick. I think it's really important to, when you're going to get involved and have revenge with someone, is there always a price to pay? Because for every action there is a reaction, and sometimes if we have revenge sex, whether it be emotional, physical, a man can respond to that in a way that is quite negative. Now, Carly's smiling there, so we all know that she don't give a shit, because she's like, they just brought it on.
Yep, you better believe it. I don't play games. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
This woman takes no prisoners.
I'm always 10 steps ahead.
Val, I mean, come on, there's got to be something in the dim, distant past that you can look back and go, you got your revenge, girl.
well, I mean, really, the only time that I feel like I have is I have exes that, I've literally said, if you do this, if you don't change, you're going to regret it. And they message me now wanting to get back together and all this. And I said, I told you before I left, you're going to regret it if you don't change.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're regretting it. So the fact that, I've told them, you can't do this, or, you're going to mess up. And I won't be here. And nobody seems to believe it.
What if we're in a relationship with a guy, and I can understand this thing on, and he's not, how can I put this very bluntly? He's not giving you any, right? He's not giving any. He's pulled it away. He's pulled it away, whether it's sex, whether it's emotions, whether it's any kind of stuff. Would there be this wish to, and you've tried talking to him, and you've tried the underwear, and you've tried all the text messages, and you've tried the good looking photos, and you've tried everything. If he's not responding to you, what do you do? Like, do you because we all want to feel wanted and needed, so do we look for it?
No, you get yourself what's called a Bob, a battery operated boyfriend. You don't
Great
need
idea.
revenge sex if he's not giving it to you. You just need a bob.
Well, I'll tell you,
Just
the only
saying.
the
Well,
thing
so
that I did when that happened was got a divorce. So, you know,
a battery operated boyfriend. I'm sure all of us know that we've at one time we've had a relationship with one, and they're so good because they don't answer back.
I
Damn
actually saw
straight.
this. I saw this ad on, or no, what, I don't even know if it was an ad. It was just this random thing that posted up on Instagram yesterday. You know, like just sometimes random things come in your feed, and this older woman, you're seeing like this naked body double. It's like of a man, and she's touching him and going, "Well, you know, the size is really great, and like it'd probably make up if you need an extra husband in your life or you're not getting any." She's like, "I don't think it's for me though." But it was just so weird. Like there was no legs. It was just this man, his member, upper body. Oh, it was just wild. But she's like, this would be great for somebody that's just not getting it.
Randall's obviously coming in with like, you know, the whole buzz situation, and Phil comes in with battery. That's a good point, though, Carly, that you've brought up tonight about the battery. The battery
Battery operated
boyfriend.
boyfriend. Get yourself a bob.
But whilst that's giving you wonderful orgasms and you're feeling great about yourself, does it do a lot for your self-esteem?
It depends on what's going on in the relationship and why he's not giving out. If he's not putting out because he's working 16-hour shifts with an 8-hour turnaround like I was doing before, I get it. You're exhausted. You don't have time for it. You just come home, change clothes, eat, go to bed, and wake up and go back to work. So if it's that kind of scenario, you just get yourself a bob, and you know that you gotta, plan date nights with your husband, your significant other, partner, whatever, if they're working that crazy. But if it's something else, like they're doing stuff against you and they're not being there for you emotionally, or they're emotionally hurting you as well, then it's time to do a little bit more than a bob.
You know, Cassie, do you think that being, because obviously you're a little bit younger than some of us, but it's like probably actually all of us, I would say. And damn it, woman, you're looking good. Do you feel that when you're younger now, that now the whole sex toy industry thing is so easy to, you know, you don't need one now, you don't need a guy anymore, because obviously, like, going back to when I was a bit younger, I remember, I'm talking about the battery boyfriends, if we're going to bring that up. I remember some of them weren't as fantastic as they are now. Like, you know, that now they're all like
Oh,
this super soft and really expensive, and it's all really great. But do you think it's like, is that how? Because obviously you've been younger. Do you think in that way? Think, well, I just go and get my friend out.
Well, I think definitely on the topic of, like, not necessarily by myself, but I think definitely on the topic of sex, if you're somebody who struggles to have sex like myself, I actually like really struggle to. I'm not going to go into depth of it, obviously, but me and my partner, we struggle to have sex. We've not had the chance to have sex before, because I don't know. There's something going on down there, and I can't describe it because I don't know what it is.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
but definitely, I think that I wouldn't necessarily consider getting a toy necessarily for myself, but I think it's definitely a really big help with. It can be a really big help if you're struggling to have sex with a partner, because it can help you really get into the mood if your partner's not necessarily giving you exactly what you like. Because men and women are different when it comes to sex. You know, we're both programmed differently to respond to certain things. So, which is why a lot of women need quite some time of foreplay beforehand of having sex. So, I think definitely if you haven't got time, for example, like what Carly was saying, if you're doing long shifts, for example, and you just want that intimacy time with someone, I think it's very easy to just, you know, oh, give me a sec, let me grab my buddy. You know, it can be really helpful to just really get you in the mood quite quickly, and then, you know, bish bash bosh, it's done. You know, but it's still enough that it gives you that intimacy with your partner, and it's not what's the word I'm looking for, like, it's not putting anything to the side. You know, it's not compensating, that's what I mean.
Do we all agree, like looking back, like for you, Kate, and you, Val, like did you have moments in your life where the battery boyfriend made you feel good about yourself and your self-esteem, or was it a case of just, you would rather go, and I know Val hasn't, but it's like in your case, Kay, do you feel like you needed to be with a guy to give you that self-esteem because the battery boyfriend wouldn't do it?
Honestly, I think I went through so many phases in a decade. Like, it started with that, then it started with I needed the validation from a man, and if I didn't get that, I was just constantly in this chasing phase. Like, I need to chase the next best thing to fill the void. I can't say the battery operated boyfriend, the Bob, ever consumed my life, but when it comes to, more serious relationships, I know, Wendy, you can attest to this, but being on the flip side of that, I was so sick for years and I didn't have the energy, I didn't have the drive for it. And obviously, in a more serious relationship, when you started out and sex was such a huge factor of the connection piece, and then all of a sudden it's like that can't be there, I wanted to have the same sort of respect that I would give him if he was in the same situation. So if the tables were turned, yes, I probably would do what I can to have a Bob in my life, take care of when I had the urge, to give him the same respect that I had to get when I was so sick.
Yeah, I think that's very important, actually, because if we're sick in our lives and we can't have sex and we're not physically able to have sex, a man can take that as if we don't want them, that we're rejecting them, and they can go, well, and they come on to us, and we're like, well, look, we physically can't. How about it on the other side, though? If the guy's like that, and we really want it from our guys, we really want to feel that intimacy and closeness, but we're not getting it. And it's easy to say, get your boyfriend out, your battery boyfriend. It's easy to say, talk about it. But sometimes having sex is such an intimate thing to do. It's not just about the whole hello. It's not all about that. It's about the mental side. Do you know what I mean, Val?
But that's when, if your significant other, if you know that they can't, then that's when you like with them, but lose yourself. You know what I mean? You bring
I can't
Bob to
hear
bed
you.
with hope.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Val.
Your
You're just
reception
breaking up.
is really breaking up, Val. Really, really
The
breaking up, sweetheart.
I
the whole
honestly do
stream.
not know why.
We need to get this woman and bring her into town, into a really good town, because she has such amazing reception one time, and then it just comes and goes.
Well, I'm in the hotel right now, and
Loving the blue top, I gotta say though, Val. Loving the blue top.
thank you.
Blue's your color.
But no, what I was going to say is, be intimate with your partner as far as, be close to them, snuggle, love on them, but let them be involved, but bring Bob to bed. But I mean, include them in it. Don't like go to another room and do it and then come back and, because you're kind of separating the two.
Yeah.
So give them that intimacy, but, let them be involved in it.
I think there's also that piece around, for instance, when you're young in the marriage, you have the kids, then there's the babies and the toddlers, and they take so much of your time. The man's tired from work, but oftentimes I've even seen, the mom stays at home and she's looking after the babies, and the man's going to work and he's so tired, and she still wants that connection piece, because that kind of takes her out of, like, I've been breastfeeding all day, I've been getting barfed on, I've been doing all these things, and that's her piece to kind of get back into adult land. And then if that's being neglected, it can really go to a place of, like, she's probably going to fantasize about I want a man that wants me. I want this. And it causes a whole trickle effect, because not only is she feeling rejected, she's maybe not feeling sexy anymore. And, maybe he doesn't want me because my body looks like this. Like, it can be a total mind F when that happens. But at the same sense, what you were saying, Carly, like, they're working those long hours. They're trying to put food on the table and support the family. And it can just turn into a really messy dynamic, especially when the couple does not understand one another at the end of the day, like what the needs are at that time.
I think if a man, sorry, Val, what were you going to say, love?
I was going to say, coming, I've been in that position, with 2 toddlers, stay-at-home mom with 2 toddlers, or a baby and a toddler, and it's extremely hard to get out of mom mode and go into, just life mode. And sometimes when you're not receiving your partner, when you're not receiving the love of your partner.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, it's just so choppy.
Hear me now?
All I hear is just cutting out. I can't hear anything.
Well, that's what I sound like.
No, it's just it's not that. It's you're cutting out. I can't hear you. The reception is so bad.
Reception.
Yeah, I heard, Val, what I heard was you were talking a lot about, you've been in the situation where you've had the 2 young toddlers and gone through that place of, wanting to be the adult again and get that piece of yourself back.
Well, what I was going to say is sometimes you don't, when you're in that mommy mode, it's, you're too tired to adult.
Mm-hmm.
So you just stay in that mommy mode.
An 8.5-year-old daughter that's medically complex with special needs that will be needed to be taken care of like a newborn for the rest of her life. So I don't ever get out of that toddler phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, of course, mine are 25, almost 25 and 22, but, I can remember having 2 toddlers, and, by the time their dad worked swing shift, so, it was almost like I was working 24/7 and he was working swing shift. So there's really, there wasn't a lot of parent time. It was mommy mode all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
I can certainly attend that when I think when women go through the menopause as well, and you go through different hormonal, like Cassie was saying, sometimes your body just doesn't work, and you don't know why it doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and you want it to mentally, you want it to, it doesn't respond, and you feel like shit. And you feel like, you're not, as Kay said, you're not attractive, you're not, you're not feeling the love, you're not feeling, look at, I've got 300 chins or something, or whatever, you're feeling really low. And even then, I mean, I remember going through a stage a couple of years ago where I didn't care. I was like, Boy George, I'd rather have a cup of tea than have sex, because it just wasn't there. I didn't feel anything. I felt like I was dead from this way down. And it was like mentally it was there, but physically it wasn't. And the person I was dating at the time was kind of like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you responding? And they try and get you to get going, and you just can't. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I've been bad.
Yeah.
Your reception is just so not good, Val. I'm so sorry, chick. It's just not. It's coming and going, honey.
Can you hear me now?
Just about.
Barely.
Just about.
Barely.
I got it literally pained me for someone to touch me.
Yeah.
You know, it. I mean, it doesn't make me sick to have anybody touch me in an intimate fashion.
It's so frustrating, isn't it? Because you know she's coming out with something good point, and you just can't hear it. But I think all of us have had ill health, and we've all suffered, and we all know what it's like to go, I don't want it, you know. And he makes me feel really bad because I can't have it, you know. You wonder that he's gonna go and get it elsewhere and have revenge on you because you're not giving it to him.
Yep.
Nope.
Do you feel like, Cassie? Is that something that's
Well,
happening?
not currently, no. I would say the first few months of my relationship with my current boyfriend, I definitely felt like, oh my God, if I can't give it to him, like eventually his eyes are going to start to wander. And I worried about it for a long time. And I'm so lucky, though, that he is such a loyal and such a comforting man for me. He definitely makes me feel like, regardless of whether there's sex or not, that I'm the most special person in his life and that he would never, ever leave or let his eyes wander elsewhere, because he has eyes for me and me only. And I definitely feel that. I believe him. That's the main thing. I think if you have the right person in your life to let you believe that you're the right person, that it's okay. You know, my ex, however, I opened up to him about the fact that I didn't want to have sex with him so quickly, because we were having a long distance relationship, but he did come to meet me at one point, and he was so eager to have sex with me. And I said to him, no, I'm not doing this. And I opened up to him about the fact that I was so, I didn't want to have sex with him because I'd recently been assaulted. So it was a very, very scary thing for me to discuss, let alone to even think about having sex with him. But he was so onto it. And I just immediately was like, if I don't give him what he wants, then he will wander and he will end up looking for someone else. And then I think within a couple of weeks of that happening, the fact that he kind of left and then he said, actually, I'm breaking up with you, I thought, yeah, you've probably wandered elsewhere and found someone else who can give you what you want. And it absolutely broke me to pieces. And it didn't help having my family all the time going, yeah, he probably broke up with you because you didn't have sex with him. I felt so much like, wow, that's the only reason that I was there for him. And I felt awful about it for such a long time. And I did get kind of bullied by my parents about it.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I felt awful. I felt so awful. Like, oh, I should have slept with him for him to stay with me. But I'm so glad to this day that I never did, that I didn't give him what he wanted, because I'm looking back on it now, I'm like, wow, I dodged a bullet there.
That's
That ain't bad.
terrible. I'm so sorry.
And here she is, the woman is back looking better than ever.
No.
What happened, Val? Where'd you go? That's much better.
I was on Ken's tablet, and apparently it wasn't doing something, so I got my phone on Wi-Fi. So
You look amazing. What was the point you were making, Val? Let's go back. What were you saying, love?
I don't remember, what was I talking about.
Well, we were talking about when you're not well and you can't have sex or whatever's going on. Do you ever feel that if you can't give your man it, and Kate and that's we know what Carly answers is going to be. It's going to be, they can bugger off because I've got my ball. But Kate and Val, let me ask you both: if you've both been in that situation where you're not feeling great, you're really not up for it, and would you feel like really bad, like you can't give it? How would you feel in that moment if he was like pressurizing you to have it and he's like, well, you can't give it to me, I'll go and get it elsewhere? Because that's a revenge sex kind of thing.
I think so I've been in a situation with an ex that I was really ill, and similar to you, Cassie, I had a lot of health problems. I had very severe endometriosis. It was super painful to have. And I knew he was going to get it elsewhere. So it was like almost at times I would put myself in a situation where I compromised my own energy and how I felt, because I was like, I have to give it to him. I felt like I have to. It doesn't matter how I feel. I was just completely neglecting my own energy in the process. And that leaves you feeling crappy at the end of it because you feel horrible for days, but you're like, oh, well, I've pleased him. So that's what mattered. In the situation I'm in now with my marriage, I never even have to worry about that. I mean, he's been so wonderful about it, but I always had that little seed in my head psychologically that was like, in the past, I had that happen. I feel like I need to do it, even though I don't have the energy to do it. And I had to really do some deep work around that, you know, it's not expected from me now like it was before. And I don't have to worry that he's going to go step out and do that to me like I had in the past.
Do we feel though as women that there is, how can I put this, like pressure on us to be this good looking sexual, look, I've got it all going on, and when we've got stuff, we obviously we don't always pick the right choice of guy, but sometimes men don't understand. They really, and I mean this in the best way in the world, they don't understand what we're going through. They don't have our hormone system. They don't know what it's like to go through it. And we try and tell them and they go, I understand, but you know they're not. I mean, Val, you know, you and I are similar, not far from the age thing, and we're all going through the whole body changes and everything like that. It certainly made me feel like I was dead from the waist down, and it was like I felt like I wasn't even a female. I wasn't even sexy. I wasn't even desirable, and I felt really bad because it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, why don't you want me? And yet at the same time, I've been in a relationship with a guy who's actually rejected me for sex, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? So I can see it from both sides.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been with people who really did not care how I felt about it and would get just, you know, irate if they were turned down for any amount, any reason. And I've been with people who, you know, actually cared about how are you feeling today? Are you okay? You know, as long as this is okay with you, you know, do you feel okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, it's a big difference because, you know, I think a lot of times women are raised to want to make, you know, their husband or their boyfriends happy.
Yes.
Regardless of how it makes us feel. But, you know, I think we eventually come to the age where we think, you know what? I shouldn't have to do that just to make somebody else happy. I need to make myself happy.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't want to do that, I don't care if you get mad or not. And if you do get mad, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Phil Guy's got a point here when he says, hello, love. All right, Carly, thanks for joining us.
I got to go. My daughter needs me. I got to go. Sorry.
Go for it, lovey. Go for it. We'll see you later. Lots of love.
Love you
See you,
guys. Much
Carly.
love and
Bye.
positive vibes. Thank you.
Bye, love. Phil Guy says, I asked a girl out in high school. She flat out laughed in my face, and then she got her friends to laugh at me. That is pretty awful.
That is awful.
That's
really awful.
Yeah.
And as a guy, I would imagine that really had an effect on you, Phil. I mean, you know, because men are supposed to have this tough upper lip, you know, it's fine. Yeah. We're all fine about it. But that's awful to see that people would actually deliberately go out of their way to bring someone down.
But, you know, like I said, I think you need, if you have someone who tries to push you into something, regardless of how you feel, you know, whether they understand what you're going through or not, if they do not have sympathy for your feelings, then you don't need to be with them anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not for you if they have no sympathy, if they don't care how you feel about it. You know, they shouldn't pressure you to do anything.
I think that's the right thing when Kay talked about power. right? We've all take power back, whether it's to have sex, not have sex, revenge sex, whatever. And Hydra says here, like, I know how you feel, Fiddy, stay strong, brother. That's a great thing to say. We have, the only power we have is what we do ourselves. We cannot control anybody else's. And I spent probably the most for 40 years of my life going, yeah, but, and trying to be there for someone else and make them feel better and me feel like shit. And the times that I did have the revenge sex, I felt really good about myself. And I'm not going to lie, I would have done it. I'll do it again in a heartbeat. I would have done it again in a heartbeat. If you took me back to that time and I went through that same shit again, I would absolutely do it again. And I
Now,
would, you know,
did you do that to hurt them?
to take my power back.
I
Absolutely.
mean, did you do it intentionally to hurt them?
Oh, I wanted him to, I think I wanted how's the right word to put this? I think I wanted him to suffer. I wanted him to realize that what he was going to lose. And I also wanted to leave a memory with him that would play with him. And it did, because years later, he said to me, did you even respect me? Well, no, I didn't actually. But
see, all I can see is Wendy walking with a grin and a bomb going off behind her. Like,
it was very much, but I was young. I was about 20, 21 when that situation happened. So absolutely, I can honestly say. What about you, Kay? Like you were saying that when you did it, and when you, Cassie, when you actually turn your ex down as well, it gives you that power, doesn't it?
It really does. Definitely. It just like evokes a feeling of, okay, this guy sees me. I have my power back. I can basically do whatever I can't even, I can't explain it now because it's been long ago. Like I said, this is like 18 years back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely that power piece was in there hugely.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was ever necessarily to hurt them because I don't think they found out about it. So more so it was just like, okay, I have this hate on for men in general right now. So I'll hurt these men and that's going to get them back.
Yeah.
And now I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I would have gone back and done it that way, but
I have gone through my own time in my life where I've been like sick of how they treat me, don't want to do it anymore. It's going to be on my terms, how I want it, when I want it, everything like that. And it took me years to get to that point where I actually felt confident enough to go, no, it's not happening now unless it's on my time. And I think that comes with confidence. And Cassie, I would say to you, and probably all of us, if we could give you any advice, not that we're trying our best, but it's like you stand tall and be yourself, because you have to stand in your own power. And because if you can't be yourself, who the hell can you be? When the time is right, I wonder if there is nothing wrong down there, whether it is in here.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to find that. And perhaps Val and Kay can give you their own advice, but it's like, you're a beautiful young woman. You're just starting out on the ladder, and it's all coming, baby. Believe me. What would you give her, Val and Kay? What would be your advice?
honestly, when people say, if you could go back and not have to deal with all these heartbreaks or these things that you've done, would you not experience them? But it's like, I wouldn't be here today sitting where I am and having the wealth of knowledge and wisdom that I've gained along the way, seeing that every single one of those situations was a gift. I mean, none of us get through this life without trauma or heartbreak. It's just part of our human experience as spiritual beings on Earth School. And at the end of the day, it's all for growth. And it's, are you going to take the lesson out of it, or are you just going to continue to, I guess, go from an ego standpoint of the ego says, I want to get them back. I want to do this, where it's like the soul can say, okay, or I can take this and see it for what it is, that this was a lesson mirroring to me. Maybe I could have seen that I am worth more, that I didn't deserve that I can be with somebody that actually values who I am, and good riddance to him, and move on to somebody else that's more loving after you do some more inner work. So that's my
yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And really, it took me many, many years to get to the point where I'm just me. And anybody that knows me well enough knows that I'm the same all the time. And no matter where I am, who I'm talking to, I'm the same person. I don't change for anybody anymore. And I have well, I haven't, but I guess the universe has gotten rid of fake friends for me and has left me with the true ones that love me no matter what. And it all came from me not trying to be somebody else, but just being exactly who I am.
Absolutely.
So, I hate for it to take anybody as many years as it took me to figure that out. But it's very hard to do. It's hard to be just yourself when you're used to pretending to be something you're not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always the best.
Phil Guy comes up with a point and he says women always have the power. I have to disagree with that, because I actually don't think we do.
Especially nowadays, I have to say. We're having more taken away. So
absolutely, because as I said, when you talk about one subject, you then go into another one, and it's like these days, I was funny enough chatting with some women today at the convention. They were talking about how we've fought so hard to get our independence, to be seen as powerful in our own right, and now what's happening is, with so many other movements going on out there, we are to keep our identities as I don't want to use the word as a true woman, but that, what I'm seeing is the fact that, we try so hard to fight to get to where we are today, and we're still having to fight. We're still having to keep our power. I don't think we do have the power. I think sometimes we're having to fight to keep it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong. I feel like anybody should be able to be exactly who they feel they are. Act any way you want to act. You're right. But don't try to take something away from someone else who was born with it.
Absolutely. Very, very good point. And Cassie, one thing I would say is never feel pressurized, even by your family and even by your friends or partner. It has to be your own choice, your own. And you are, as I said, you're just about to start that road to finding your true power as a woman. And when you do come into it, and believe me, it takes a few years, right?
Yeah.
Once you find it, you're like, hey, I found the magic button, right? But we do have power in some ways. And I wonder if we could use one word to end this and say, what is our power? What would you say is our power, Val? What one word comes to you describes a woman's power?
I think it's our patience.
Yeah. What about you, Kate?
I would say two words, but compassion and vulnerability. Definitely.
And Cassie, what do you feel?
I would say definitely like courage and motivation to give to other women.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Some of you took my words, which is fine. But what I'm thinking is, as a power, I think it's like, and this is going to sound so crass, but it's true, is to actually love the woman that you have actually become or are becoming, because it's taken you bloody years to get there and gone through so much shit and hell to become the woman you are. Absolutely, we don't love ourselves. We don't. We put, if we're not giving to a man, if we're not acting like we should do, if our own situation is different, I think the greatest power we have is to be true to ourselves. Be true. That would be my word, be true.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up this comment here. You have the power to change, says Hydra, to become a better you. It's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting topic that we began tonight, Val, as in revenge sex, why we do it, why we respond to it, or why we even look for it. And I've done it. Kay's obviously been there. Cassie had an emotional situation where she's like, I'm going to get that son of a bitch back. Right. But I also think it led on to other things, which just goes to show the whole subject is huge. It's not just about having sex, because I think when you say revenge sex, it isn't about having sex. It's the emotional side to it. Would you agree, ladies?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because, and I don't mean to sound flippant about it, but you can go and have sex with someone and have no emotional attachments whatsoever.
Yeah.
That may sting a little bit someone, but it's not going to hurt them as bad as you emotionally connecting with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find this a good point, Val? And I just picked that up. And Kay, you probably get this as well. I actually went through a stage where I didn't want to connect emotionally with a man, and it was okay to have sex and not go to a level where it took you to that sensitivity and that that deepness. Pardon the pun. It was like, I just want to have, like, and nothing else, right? I mean, can you relate to that, Kay?
I never had that. I mean, I had a situation that it was tested, and I'm just like, I don't enjoy it unless there is some form of connection. I'm not saying I haven't done it, but did I enjoy it? Not nearly as much as I would have if there'd been an emotional connection.
It's all about connection. I mean, it's true.
There's a little bit of power in, being able to say, you know what, just do it and don't talk.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. It's been an interesting topic, and Val, it's so nice to have you here in full Technicolor. It really is.
I'm working on it, Wendy. I
know you are, girl. And I'm sorry we lost Carly as well. I hope you ladies are going to stay when we go into a brief afterglow. I just want to say thank you so much to Cassie for sharing your story. I know it's a very personal one, and I know it's not always an easy one, especially when it involves lots of areas, but thanks for coming here, and I hope you're going to come back again and share some more.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to.
And Kate, to come and bring your experience. You have such a beautiful energy, and you, my friend, you're wise beyond your years. Sometimes I listen to you and I'm like, where did that girl get that thoughts from? So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Wendy. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you both very much.
We're really grateful.
And Carly as well.
And Carly, bless her heart, she's had to go. Val and I, we've been dying to get other women to come in and join us so we can get our teeth into it. And it's like, where are they? And it's so nice that you guys are here. So please stay with us, because we are going to go into the, I'm just bringing it up here, to go into the afterglow, as we like to call it. Although, as Michael quite aptly put, we should be, what was it? Let's go round the cauldron or something like that. I think it was kind of nice. I actually think he's got a point.
Well, for this show, as much as we talk about sex, Afterglow just made sense.
It does. It does. Anyway, guys, stay with us. We will see you very, very shortly. kind of say, Val, I kind of like the just saying one, or because we could have this one, which is the afterglow. As
Before I forget, did you see the comment from Fairy Cowgirl?
I didn't
I
see
did
it.
earlier on. Yes, I did.
That is Emily,
Your girl.
my oldest. Yes.
I
She has
did.
a new YouTube channel, and it's ASMR.
I'm just looking for it now. It was there just a bit. I wondered who that was because I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah, that's Emily.
Fairy Cowgirl. Is this her?
That's her.
Ah, okay. Now we know.
Yes, that is my daughter. I meant to tell you, beforehand, and I'm going to be, hopefully, she's going to help me start one on my furniture flipping. So
That would be really good. Kay, I wanted you to just briefly tell us about the wonderful contraption, which I don't know if we can see.
Oh, I moved it out of the room because it was sitting in the back.
I did tell Val and Cassie briefly about your amazing lamp. Tell us about it.
So I'll just tell you why it came into my life. When I was in university for counseling, my best friend said, "Oh my God, I had this experience. This woman has this light upstairs. It's just wild. Like the things that you see is just unbelievable." So, as I've said before, I was struggling with illness at the time, and I went up and tried this, and I did 5 sessions, and I was just like, "Oh my God, my body just feels so much more relaxed." It helped my nervous system. But anyway, it's called a Lucia Light number 3, and it's a neurostimulation device. There's over 120 different programs that it runs, but it basically flashes like a succession of lights at your eyes. There's gentle, medium, strong. Some of them you're going to get like a DMT experience. Some of them are just going to be like an LSD psychedelic. And there's a lot that are just like standard hypno sessions that are just to take you. The idea of it is to take you in between the state of wakefulness and asleep where your mind is not turned on. You get to that higher state and everything kind of just relaxes. So I have some clients that have visions, but it does things like calms your central nervous system, gives you clarity, helps heighten intuition, helps with sleep, helps with chronic fatigue. Like the list goes on and on. So great, love it.
wow, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it when I was out there, and I was like, "What is the lamp?" And sadly, I'm not great with the strobe or flashing light. And I know Kay said there's ways or means to get around that, but I have chronic fatigue, and I know Cassie's waiting to be diagnosed with it, and Kay's had it too. And I think Val has fibromyalgia, so we could
And
all
migraines, yes.
have a session.
Well, the nice thing is, some people like you, Wendy, they just can't deal with the strobe. It's too much for them. So my brother and I actually both have the light. He's in Vancouver, but you can put blinders on your client and actually put the light on the different chakras. And I mean, I have a client that comes to me that has severe endometriosis. I just put it on her pelvis, and she has amazing results with her pain. There's another gentleman that sees my brother in Vancouver. He's actually quite a well-known hockey player, and he's had so many head injuries. And so my brother puts the blinders on him and puts the light just directly kind of over the crown, and he won't go without it. He weekly goes to just get that sense of not getting brain fog and the memory lapses. It's just unbelievable what the light frequency does.
That's incredible.
I'd never heard of it until I actually saw the lamp.
So there was a neuroscientist, a psychiatrist, and a psychologist that are all from Austria. This is the third generation that they've made, but the psychologist used to focus on having people go into almost near-death experiences. He would do so many sessions with them to try to take them into that state of right between wakefulness and asleep. And anyway, got together with this neuroscientist and said, let's do something that we can get them into it like that. And that's what it does. So 1.5 hour session is equivalent to 60 hours of meditation for your brain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I do.
I know people that have tried it, and they said it was just like out of this world. You know, they've just had the
The Technicolor is like you'll never see colors that bright anywhere. It's unbelievable. It's almost like kaleidoscopes and fractals, and it's pretty wild.
We also have crystals all in common because Val makes some amazing crystal jewelry, and her pyramids are just phenomenal. And Kay, you do crystal healing as well, don't you?
I do. You can see my back. My office is surrounded.
Everywhere.
I do. So I sometimes put them on my clients when I'm doing the light also, but it's great. Crystals are amazing. They're wonderful tools for healing.
Val makes me laugh where she says she goes out and she goes, I go out and I get my crystals and they talk to me, and I know it, and she shows me all this stuff, you know, she like picks all these crystals up, and she's a real witchy wise woman, you know, that goes out looking for it, in because she lives right out, we would say, in the sticks, you know, she lives right out in the sticks,
Live in the boonies.
and literally, where do you get all your crystals from?
I go to different places. The easiest place, well, there's actually 2 places in North Carolina that I go down. I go down there and just dig for them. Or you can either dig for them yourself, or, you know, they give you a shovel full and you just dig for them. But I make organites, which have the epoxy, the crystals, and metal. And they change the negative energy around them to positive.
Very
so.
And just so people know, let's say, Val, where can they find your store, your crystal store?
If they go to my Facebook page, my Mercari shop is on there. I repost it every so often, but it's on my page, my Mercari shop.
That's Valerie Razsnake. And what is the name of your shop?
Cat Chick.
Cat Chick. And Kate, if they want to find you and they want to have a treatment, how do they find you?
So they can message me on Instagram. It's I am K Wood. I also have a website that is luminousstudiolucia.com. And as you know, Wendy, I'm also a healer and a spiritual mentor. So I do that remotely, which is really nice. The light, people have to be in Calgary or Vancouver to get it done, but all the other things I can do online. So
I think you need to be like moving it around, gal. Like, you know, it needs to be international. We need to bring you over to London for sure.
Definitely,
right?
Definitely. I'd love that.
Oh, look, here she is. She's got her bits and pieces.
There's one of my my pendants.
What
Okay.
is what have you got on there?
This is the what's that stone called? I never can remember it.
Obsidian or black tourmaline?
Yeah, I was going to say obsidian.
It's tourmaline, black tourmaline, and it has a little bit of, you know, the calcification on it,
Right.
the crystal on it, and then I have tiger eye up here.
Very cool.
And I think for Cassie, I mean, this is a young lady that's just branching out in the world, trying to find her feet and her niche, and it's so hard to do. It's so hard to do, especially as a young woman who's suffering with ill health as well, trying to find her niche. And I think, you know, she's so good at what everything does. My animals love Cassie to pieces. They just think she's the best thing since sliced bread. And if you ever needed a pet sitter, this woman is wonderful and will make your animals feel great. But she's also got, I also said, this woman is so wise beyond her years. Sometimes when she talks, I'm like, is that really, you know, the age that you're coming out with? And I think, Cassie, like, I still say you're a counselor in waiting to be trained, because you've just got that gift.
I'm definitely considering it. I have to admit, I'm definitely considering it. It's just the actual process of getting there at the moment. It's just a little bit difficult for me, but I'm finding my feet, and I'm sure that something will come through.
But Wendy and I, we wanted people to know through the channel that they have support. You know, um, even when you feel like, there's no way I can do this, or I don't know how to do this, or you start second guessing yourself, we're here.
Absolutely.
If you just need, a pep talk or anything like that, I think women should raise each other up instead of, being catty and trying to scratch each other's eyes out. But, we really need to praise each other, especially in these times. I think we need to come together and praise each other and raise each other up way more than we normally do.
1,000%.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's really important. I mean, I know from my own experience, it's taken me many years I think only now at 53, that I actually am starting to actually understand my power as a person, as a woman. And I actually think my life's going to go down a different road than I thought it was going to go down. And it's like, I didn't expect that. I actually think you know where you're going to go, and then life comes along and throws something in you like a curveball, and it actually meant to happen. I do tend to believe that we kind of know what we're meant to do when we come down. Well, when we come down here, but at the end of the day, like, sometimes life throws things along at us, and we just go, I don't know what to do. Like, I thought I was going to get married. I was going to have kids. It was all going to be just so simple. And then there'd be a house and a car, and there'd be money, and everything would be great. And then it all went, as we like to say in the UK, tits up, right? It all went wrong way.
But, I think there's something to be said about experience, like life experience. I'll be the first to admit I'm technically challenged, as if y'all didn't know. But there's a lot of things that, my daughters will help me do. But there's also many things that I have experienced and through my life have grown from, that I can help other people with that may not understand what they're going through, because I've been there, done that. So I think there's something to be said with, I'll be 50 this year. I think there's something to be said about experience, life experience, and kind of listening to your elders, because they've had life experience that you haven't had. Your grandmothers, your mother, all this. A lot of times we think, yeah, okay, well, the world's different. But it's different, but we seem to be going through a lot of the same struggles, that they did. So, I tend to listen to them more now. The older I get, I tend to listen more to the elders, because, yeah, they do know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Because they have been through there. They've been through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is the part of the show that I like to ask our gentlemen to join us, because obviously if they've watched it. And Field Guy, I would really like it if you would come on, because after that really difficult statement about what happened to you, I think you have 3 women here that could obviously like help you feel a lot better about yourself. And I know you joined Scotty's and everybody else, and it's like, Val and I are starting to feel like, what's
Phil
wrong?
God don't like us.
Why doesn't one come on? But we obviously, like, we do have a doctor in the house. I'm going to just bring him on to say hi. Here he is. How are you,
Michael?
All the ladies are looking very lovely, very lovely. We're very blessed. Everybody has on their Sunday best.
So what did you think about our topic, Michael, with revenge sex?
It is very, very open from the female perspective, and that's like I told Wendy earlier. A lot of times the guys don't want to come on because they're afraid the women will ask them a question that they're not really comfortable with answering. And like I said, I have a very special relationship with ask me anything. I'd ask them, what are you going to do? Spank me? Take my birthday? So, and it has nothing to do with being well, what is it? A lot of times, if you're open and honest with women and how a man feels, they say, "Oh, you're a simping, you're whipped or whatever." And earlier when everything was getting set up, she made the joke about the power of the female anatomy, which I think is very good. And Phil got a message. I'm like, you need to come into Afterglow, and we're here as a family to help support each other, male or female.
Yeah.
And the revenge sex can work either way. I totally forgot because I am very open with Wendy about my past. It's hard to believe I wasn't always an angel.
Surely not. Surely not.
And she said, "Oh, so you never had revenge sex with having a wife and a girlfriend?" And I had to think about it for a while. So I've had an hour and 37 minutes to think of a rebuttal. I'm empty. But
Did you have them at the same time, or
maybe?
Oh, he felt difficult answering that one.
Yeah. Does that make me sound like an asshole? Probably. But but my marriage was over. It was. And that's the one I told you. I took her home to her mom. I was like, look, I don't know what the return policy is here, but you need to come get this. and they brought her back twice.
like, no, you bought her, you keep her.
Yeah.
No
But
backseat.
her whole thing was, she said, "Oh, I know you're screwing this other woman," but her whole thing was, "But do you love her?" And I have played it over in my head a lot, but she wasn't really worried about the act. She was worried about my emotional connection to this other woman.
Yeah.
Not only has she been replaced physically, but she was afraid that she was being replaced mentally.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah,
There's a big difference.
yeah, that was her main concern was,
Mhm.
do you love her? And I'm like, what's love got to do with it? Ain't that what Tina said? What's love got to do with it?
She said it many times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Did you feel bad about being in that situation? Did you feel guilty at any time?
at first, but I got over it. That sounds bad, but our relationship was so horrible, and she was such a horrible person.
Yeah.
It felt justified at the end.
Yeah.
If you're going, and she cheated first. I figured the marriage was dead. So what's fair for one is fair for the other.
True.
See, that's revenge sex. That's like the epitome.
That is it.
That is the epitome of revenge sex. It's, well, you did it, I do it too.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah, I finally told her one day, I said, "Hey, look, let's see who can do it better." I didn't make the rules of this game, but I damn sure know how to play bomb.
Have you ever had it, as far as you're aware, have you ever had it done to you?
Probably. Most men have.
But you're not sure if you have?
No.
Okay. If you had it done to you, how do you feel? I mean, I know you can't 100% say, but how would you think it would make you feel?
Oh, I'd most definitely get even.
Okay.
So that's what you automatically go to, wanting to get even.
Like I said, with age comes, you
Yeah.
still go say, "Oh, let's go beat up the guy." But like my mom used to say, it takes two to screw.
Yeah.
So you don't neglect him. Oh, there'd be a whole new YouPorn thing put up with links being dropped in people's text messages. Hey, you need to go check this out.
Yeah, I mean, most people, when if they have a wife or girlfriend or whatever, and they find out that she's cheated on them, they forget all about her and go for the guy.
Yeah.
The guy, he may never even known she was married.
And
He may not, anything like that. So I rarely ever blame the other, the person.
the one thing that happened to me, a lady one time said something to another, and she said, "Oh, and my husband." And I looked her straight in the face. I'm like, "Your husband?" And I didn't know she was married.
I didn't want.
Say, huh? Say, ma'am.
I mean, Keith put down that he's done it and had it done for me. Keith, I'd be very interested to listen to your experience. And Randall says, Not if Bob is involved.
Bob.
And here's a really
Bob is
interesting,
fine, Randall.
here's an interesting thing to ask a guy. Like, if your wife didn't want to have sex with you, or your girlfriend didn't want to have sex with you, but she had a battery operated boyfriend and she wanted to have it with that instead, would that make you feel like you wanted to go out and have revenge sex?
No, you just hide her batteries, or nowadays, they all have a wall plug-in. All thing you got to do is just hide the wall plug-in.
It's USB now, isn't it? That's the new one, isn't it? USB.
Yeah, you hide
I
the
have a
charger.
question for Michael. An honest question. So don't be a butthole about it. Because I know you a little too well. What do men have against women having toys with them?
Don't bother me.
I mean, are they jealous? Do they think that?
Probably. There's like, I even asked the doctor one time. I said, "Hey, can you put that buzzy thing in him?" And he's like, "Nope, cannot be done."
I love that. Let the guy control Bob.
That's it. Now you have, well, even in a long distance relationship, you can have gadgets that the other person can control, and it could be as simple as a bracelet, panties, or a lush that you actually insert and wear. Which I don't know how that works while you're driving. You'd probably have to. But no, toys never bothered me.
But I mean, do you know what I'm talking about? A lot of guys are, I had one guy, and honest to God, I started dating someone, and I had been out of a relationship. I got divorced, and I'd been out of the relationship for a while. So he called and he was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm going to, there's a place called Intimate Treasures. It's got toys and all this stuff."
Not well.
In Kingsport.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just going here to see what I can find." And he said, "Well, don't get anything bigger than me."
That's what I was going to say. They're worried about size. They worry. Oh,
And come to find out, the pencil the woman had was bigger than him. But anyway, I'm thinking, why does it bother people, bother men so much to incorporate toys in with playing with each other?
It's a good point, because Hydra writes here that if his girl is more into Bob than himself, he would be hurt because it would be a feeling of, am I not good enough? And I think that that's a very good point, because some people,
right back. Your dog.
It's also a point that if, as you say, a man's interested in porn and not wanting to have sex with you, Kay, how would that make you feel?
For me, it doesn't bother me, but I was actually going to bring that up. It's no different than when girls get upset about men watching porn. Or I even had a friend that got pissed off because her soon-to-be husband was going to have a stripper at his bachelor party. And it doesn't matter to me, I guess, because I feel like I'm in my power. I'm comfortable with myself. I'm confident in who I am. And I know sometimes men just need that release. Like, maybe it's the middle of the night. Maybe I'm sleeping. Maybe he doesn't want to bother me. And maybe I wasn't feeling good. And it just doesn't affect me in that way. It's just men and women have natural sexual instincts, and sometimes they need to be curbed in other ways. And it's like, I'd rather him do that than be stepping out on me.
But there's a difference between say he's watching porn or whatever, watching that over you, or watching that when you're not available, or under the weather or tired or whatever. There's a difference.
Huge difference. There is a difference. There's a difference. I think if I did have to experience the other, I would just go to that piece of like, well, why doesn't he want it from me? Do I not turn him on anymore? Am I not good enough? That would come up. I'm just speaking from my experience for right now, that it doesn't bother me because I'm not concerned about that. But I imagine for other women, that's a huge concern. It's like, well, why do they want to be turned on in that way?
It's not fun when that happens because it has happened to me before.
Well,
It's not fun.
I think men become addicted to it, and then it almost spills over into their own sexual relations with their wife or their girlfriend or whatever, because they have that different hit of pleasuring themselves in that specific way. And maybe the woman that they're with can't do that anymore. So it becomes that almost they have a sex addiction and the woman can't meet the need of that sex addiction.
Yeah.
I tell most of the guys, and the same way Wendy does with Cassie. Cassie told me, that's like my Aunt Wendy, and I have kids, around here, younger guys. I own a business, and I tell them, don't get it twisted, because the girl you see on camera is getting paid to do that. Your girl, you try that at home, you're gonna end up divorced, hit, told off. I'm like, and it's not like it's gonna happen every night. If you want to have porn star sex every night, you better get a good job, make bank, and be hiring hookers. Because you try that shit at home,
not wrong.
You can be sleeping somewhere else other than in the bed with her.
Keith,
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear your point of view, because thank you for joining us. And it's so nice to have another man on here. Val and I are thrilled to see another man
on my shoulders.
Finally. And it's like, Keith, tell us about your revenge sex.
Well, I'm going to start off by saying I am still not proud of it to this day.
Okay.
I wasn't exactly always a nice person. And when me and my first wife separated, she had a sister that lived next door in some apartments. And her sister had let me know that she had a little crush on me. And she got mad at her sister. And so we cooked up this little thing to where we got together right when my ex was going to come pick up some of her things and caught us. We purposely set it up like this. So yeah.
Wow.
Boy, that was a whole new meaning, and I'm here to fucking fight, and I don't see your sister.
It was not a good scene. Let me tell you what.
Well, sisters ain't bad, except for when you have to go eat Thanksgiving dinner at the house.
Yeah.
Then it gets messy.
Maybe awkward.
Children together. And so we have family functions at, graduations, whatnot, where everybody needs to be at. So it requires a certain tact to, we've talked, everything's been forgiven, which makes it easier now. But back then, when the kids were younger, it was a little awkward.
Yeah.
Just
What made you want to do it, Keith, if you don't mind me asking?
Anger, betrayal. I felt hurt. And that was the only thing back then that I knew to try to get rid of it. I didn't have the healing capabilities I have today. Today, I would never, ever, ever think about doing anything even remotely close to that. About communication. If there's an issue in this department with your partner, sit down and talk to them. Come to a mutual understanding. Okay, this is how I feel about the situation. Okay, this is why I'm like this. Communicate, understand, comprehend where the other person is, and you're going to have a much better relationship. Like you said earlier, sickness, that can cause issues. When I had my home fire, which I'm slowly getting rebuilt, and I lost my pet and I walked away homeless. It traumatized me to the point where I had no drive, none. And my partner at the time, who is now not my partner, even though I explained to her multiple times in different ways to try to get her to understand where I was and, everywhere else, she didn't get it, or she just wanted to use it against me. And she accused me of going out and cheating on her. Well, you're not giving it to me. You must be giving it to somebody else. And that just added insult to injury. And, my depression went even deeper in the hole. So it took longer for me to heal. So it goes both ways, females be hurt
Did
by
it make you feel good at the time, though? Did you feel good at the time?
Oh, back then?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was proud of myself.
He told all his buddies.
I was the talk of the town. You know what Keith did? Yeah.
Where you from, Keith? Where you from?
So that was 100% truly revenge sex.
Yes.
It's interesting to hear it from like Kay and I talked about from our point of view, and it's interesting to hear from a guy's point of view. And you know, you at the time it made you feel good, and but now obviously you look back and feel differently. Michael, at the time you said it made you feel good, but now when you look back, how do you feel about it?
Well, you know,
I've
I have no regrets on anything I've
it,
done in my life. You
it
know,
took a lot
I
to
own
heal
all
from,
my
actually.
mistakes.
It
I
was
own.
part of my healing process I had to go through. I went through my entire life multiple times looking at this situation and that situation. And that's one of the situations that I had to go through and pick apart. Why did you do this? Because of this. Why did that happen? Because of this. Not everything in my first marriage was my partner's fault. I can now see, because back then I thought it was. It wasn't. I had a lot to do with it.
For sure.
So it's a healing process.
And
Well, I think we all do that. You know, at the time, oh, it's completely them. I did nothing. I didn't do anything. And then once you're out of that relationship and you grow a little bit, you think, okay, yeah, I may have like 70-30,
you know,
you know,
I was told one time the common denominator to every relationship you ever had in your life is you.
it's you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it made me think. And I was asked here a while back, was you always a good husband? And your first instinct is to say, fuck yeah, I was the best husband this bitch ever had.
Exactly.
And I thought so back then too, but guess what? I
You know,
wasn't.
but then, and now that you look back, and like I said, you know, and Wendy knows, and Cassie, and anybody knows me. The older I've got, the more, I don't hide my past no more. Was I always an angel? No. Am I working to get better as I go along now with age? Absolutely. Do I want to be a better guy tomorrow than I was today? I just want to keep moving on.
I was never an angel, but I wasn't a devil either.
Oh,
So I
I
take part responsibility.
What
You
about
know,
you, Kay? Were you an angel?
I've always had equal parts light and dark. That's just you can't have one without the other. They don't exist. And I feel like now I see those shadow aspects about me when I was younger. They were just screaming to come out, like, accept me, accept me. So I did the
Exactly.
things that were a little bit considered more on the evil side. And now I'm just like, you know what? Those are pieces of me. I integrate them. It's totally okay. It's just a healthy part. And now I don't feel like I'm so drawn to do those types of toxic behaviors because I've made peace with that part of myself. It doesn't exist really anymore.
well, when you accept it, it kind of melds into your personality more so than separated.
Exactly.
The one thing I have not heard with a Canadian sitting on the panel is A.
I don't say A. And I'm actually born. I was born in Denver, so
She's an angel, eh?
citizen. I'm a dual citizen.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't say A. I don't know.
I do. Ever since I come back, I say it all the time.
What about, don't you know?
Yeah, or yeah,
That's all.
but. Yeah, but. That's a big thing here. Yeah, no.
Don't you know?
What was I doing earlier from watching Pennyworth? Oi!
Oi, oi.
Oi.
It's
Oi.
nice to hear all the different accents. Keith, whereabouts are you from?
I am from Wymore, Nebraska, right in the middle of the USA.
Nebraska. The best way to go through Nebraska is at night at about 120 miles an hour.
I'm going to say you're not wrong. We have corn and cows.
Yeah, that's it. That's how you
Morning cows.
That is Nebraska.
When I drove
See, I
back
think children of the corn. No, thank you.
After I said about 110.
Here's a
Everybody
question
run that
for
down.
you. Watching the show tonight, obviously we've heard different women of we're all different ages and different backgrounds. What does a guy pick up? Because I'm interested to get the feedback. What does a guy pick up from this show when you watch it?
That's a good question. One thing I pick up is everybody's life experience is different. So we're getting all kinds of different opinions, different answers, different stories, and it allows everybody who's watching the show to really think about their own life, whether it be females watching, males watching, doesn't matter. But I think that's a very important aspect to your show is you really get people thinking. I mean, I was out in the garden weeding, with my hoe while I was listening. And I mean, I'd stop and lean on my hoe. I'm like,
What's her name?
No,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
Yeah. When you're leaning on your hoe, here's that's a different thing.
When you're in the
But
garden,
you left her in the garden to come
a
in?
garden utensil. Just to clarify, a garden utensil like a shovel.
of course, Val went straight there. I mean,
Yeah.
just saying,
Just
like
saying.
she went straight there.
I'm gonna
I
I
figure
told
most
you I've
kids
never
would be
been an
like this,
angel.
they can know,
Sorry.
but
He
they're
said it.
not.
We were thinking it.
I'm going to come back to one thing, my statement earlier, what I was talking about, my revenge thing. Another part of that, which just popped back in my head, was my ex always told me that I sucked in bed. And she told all of her friends that I sucked in bed. Everybody in town that I sucked in bed. They would come up to me and say, you know what your wife's saying about you? And I think that's another aspect of why I did what I did and why I would step out back then is for validation, because I mean that put me in a low place.
Sure.
A man wants to be proud of that aspect.
Absolutely.
And so I went out and I needed to see. I needed to find out. And
Well, what
guess
did you
what?
find out?
I
You
found
need to
out that
know
I
that.
didn't suck.
Please tell me you didn't get up and go, okay, did I suck?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Okay.
I used to tell them when they left the house. I used to tell them, say, remember, give me a 5 on Yelp.
You figure if they come back for more later on, even years later, you figure you probably did a decent job. Just saying.
You're not the first man that I've talked to in latter years that have had a, shall we say, rendezvous with the sister, or it seems to be a situation where it just happened, right? But it's like actually,
Fell into it.
yeah, what was it? Carrie
I
Fisher. I
agree.
always come back with that saying that Carrie Fisher said, like, he comforted her with his penis, right? And it's so true. It really, really is, because it's familiar. It's family business. But how
Closer in, deeper in.
did your partner then discover that you did with her sister?
I set it up so she caught us. So she walked in on us.
And then what happened? What happened after that?
Shit hit
That
fan.
was cold.
Yeah, big shit show. Big shit
Yeah.
show. I can guarantee
That okay, that was cold.
Absolutely.
Did,
Absolutely.
That was cold.
did you hear the things
Well
over
done.
the hollering? Jerry.
Jerry Springer show, yeah.
Ding, ding. Yeah.
We want to know what happened. What actually happened? What happened? Did it give her the hurt that you wanted her to feel?
It simply angered her to the point where she was throwing things, destroying things, and left. And that even her sister was okay with this because they had a falling out. Her sister was never treated fairly, when they were growing up, blah, blah, blah. So, in a way, it was her revenge sex against her sister as well. And things just really weren't very good after that, communication wise. But
Are
everything's
they friends? Are they
I
friends?
imagine not.
Are they still sisters now, or is that gone?
no, they made amends.
See, I couldn't do that. If someone went with my sister, there ain't nothing that's going to happen after that. It's done, right?
What do you think, Cassie?
Freya.
I'm taking a bit of a stand back on this one, and I'm just listening to everyone's experiences, and I'm quite enjoying the conversation, actually.
And oh my God, is this what I've got to come in my later years?
Necessarily, I'm enjoying it.
I'll deal with y'all later. No, like I said,
I've grown and I don't think the same way as I used to anymore. So I'm able to laugh about stuff now. When before it hurt or upset me, and now I can just laugh about it. So.
Well, and I think even it comes down to just through my own journey with illness, like holding the grudges just adds one more layer to the toxic shit that needs to just go. And it's like that was of my whole journey, those were the biggest pieces. I had to learn to surrender, let go of the old beliefs, face the shadow, and forgive, not even just others, but my accountability piece. Like, how did I play into this? And what did I do to harm them? Not in like a karma aspect. I don't necessarily think in that way, but it's just like you were saying earlier, everybody participates in something, and everybody has accountability for their actions in it.
Yeah.
If I could tell Cassie anything being younger is learn at a younger age to cut toxic people out of your life.
100%.
You know, just treat them like cancer, because that's the cancer of the soul.
Yep.
Let them go. Don't do like I did. Wait till you're in your 40s, or you know, and that way, if you cut these toxic people out of your life, you don't have to go worry about revenge or getting even, and you're able to drive on a purer path.
Yeah.
You don't have all this other stuff coming in.
Well, and like I said before, if you let go of those people, your true friends are going to stick by you through everything. And they're the ones that you need. You don't need those other people, because they're only going to bring you down or make it take longer. You know, if they're hanging around, it's going to take you longer to get where you need to be.
Like say,
But your true friends are going to be behind you, holding you up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
life's hard enough as it is. You have to have those people that are just your diehards, and they'll
Exactly.
go through the
Ride
shit
or
with
die.
you, go through the light with you, all of it.
Right.
you have
Well,
your ride or die.
I think the most important thing I've learned tonight is that our show brought a man out of his garden and wanted
He
to.
left his hoe in the garden.
Yeah, like he left his hoe in the garden, and he's like, and
He's probably still waiting on you, though.
Keith, I really hope you will come on and join us more in the future, because we are, as I said, we're learning, we're growing, and you know, it's so nice to have another man on. Michael's wonderful, but it's also nice to have another guy on as well. One second.
Michael's right. Okay.
No problem. I'd love to. Thank you for that invite.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, I tell them it's a lot of weight on my shoulders. I try to get Phil Guy to come in. I send him a message. I try to call him.
We're still waiting for Phil Guy to come in. Like,
He said next time, one other time when he's feeling more confident.
And
You all wait till Ken gets his voice back. Oh, he'll be on here.
And also Scotty, because like we all go on Scotty's show, we need him on here. He hasn't shown a sign yet. Val and I are starting to think that there's something going on, right?
I'm serious.
Because I'm just saying, but there's no Scotty Roberts, and I will be saying this to him on Tuesday on Robertson.
Yeah.
But it's so nice. Listen, I mean, I enjoyed this topic. It's a really good topic, and it's huge, and it's not just straightforward. And I've noticed when we talk about the 3-letter word, as KB would come out with it, people seem to enjoy that. And Val, I think we found our niche.
I know, right?
And don't forget to hit that like button, hit share.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Share, subscribe, and punch the like button.
It's
So
free. It don't cost you a dime.
I'm going to say, let the men go just gently. Thank you so much, Keith. Please come and join us again. I really would enjoy
Absolutely.
Your take on life and everything. It's so lovely to see you, and have a
too.
great evening.
You too.
Yes.
Tell your hoe we are sorry.
Yeah. Michael, thank you so much for coming on. You look amazing. Thanks for giving us your point of view, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. Hydra says that he would have come on as well. Look,
That's James, by the way.
I realised that, James. You should have come on, like James. We would have loved to have had you on here.
Next time
For sure.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael. I just took him off by accident. Kay.
Thanks, bud.
Hello. Hi, Michael.
Kill me for that later on. He'll kill me. Cassie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
I
you.
hope you'll come back again. And I'd love if James wanted to come on and join us, because
I think it'd be great. Yeah.
I think it'd be great. He'd learn something, and I think it would be amazing. So next Sunday or the Sunday after that, let's arrange something. But thank you so much for being a part of it. You are super.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, ladies, for your advice as well.
Nice to meet you, Cassie.
Thank you.
Anytime,
You're so welcome. Thank you for coming.
my love. And that brings us down to our Canadian.
Hey.
You know, and thank you so much
Don't
for being
you know?
with us, Kay. I really hope you'll come back and do
Anytime. I love being on the show. It was great.
Did you
That's
enjoy
awesome.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Oh, it was fantastic. I loved it.
Well, you know, there's always next week.
What's the topic next week, ladies?
Well,
This is Sunday, by the way.
It's what, lovey?
It's every Sunday, by the way.
It's every Sunday at, and actually that was the other little topic I was going to mention. I'm actually going to bring Wicked Women earlier by an hour, only because it's so late in the UK and I am getting to bed so late. And if I want to bring anyone on from the UK, it kind of goes like this. Really? 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday?
Damn, really?
Exactly. So I'm going from next week, Wicked Women will be at 10 p.m., which I think would be 2 in Calgary, 5 in, is that Virginia?
It's Eastern Standard.
We don't worry about anyone else. But it's like literally
They can figure it out. I mean,
they can go. And listen, Kate, please come on again. It's been great having you here.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
If you guys just, Cassie, and you just want to stay there just while Val and I end the show, we'll be right with you one sec. Okay. Val, it's so nice to have you here in Technicolor, woman.
It's so nice to be here.
Are you having a good time?
I am. I finally got to see KB after 7 months, so yeah.
It's so nice to see. And someone said you look like you're glowing.
That's because I'm sweaty and greasy.
Just saying. Just saying, you know.
But guys, don't forget to go follow Emily, Fairy Cowgirl, on YouTube.
Just to remind everyone, I really have no idea what's happening in Scotty's shows now, because it's all very confusing about what's going to be on Patreon and what's not.
I don't know.
But I can.
I'm trying to figure it out. I can't. I'm technical. You know how I am.
But I can tell you, Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock UK, and I believe it's 4 o'clock his time, is Robertson, where he and I will be. The lovely Val on her Facebook page, Valerie Rasnake, will be back with her myth, legend, I think it is, in paranormal. Am I right?
Right. Saturday nights at 7 o'clock.
Absolutely. And KB Coffee show will be around sometime this week.
We will be on in the morning, 9 o'clock.
Perfect. It's good. We do like a bit of KB in the morning and give him our
Who
love.
doesn't like KB in the morning? I mean,
who doesn't need a bit of KB in the morning? From my part of the world, I just want to say thank you so much. I have to say a quick thank you, which they may watch this. I had an amazing weekend away at the convention. There was a wonderful lady called Sarah. She was at the hotel. She went beyond the call of duty and made things so special. To every lady that came and said hello this weekend and made the Dark Huntress and I feel really, really special, I just want to say thank you very much, because it was an awesome weekend. Hence why I've got the sunburnt soldiers. And Val, from your part of the world.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone that come on, and anybody listening, or, you know, not just the ones that come live, but anyone out there. If you need us, we're not those that won't answer. We are the same, whether we're live or, you know, we're here to help uplift other women, men, whoever needs it. Because I think we all need that little push and that little extra hand sometimes.
Absolutely.
Whether it's emotionally or, you know, there's always something you can do to help someone else.
James said he enjoyed seeing his girl on the show. Randall says, great show, ladies. Keith says, great show. And Keith says, I'm working when you and Scotty are on, but try to catch up and then pop off at work. And Phil Guy, I knew I missed something last night. I was asleep. Well, that's just not going to help, is it? But I'm sure that this time, I hope all you guys have a really good evening. I'm going to bed, Bedfordshire.
Go to bed, Randy.
I am. And Val and I will be back next week. And Carly, thank you so much for being here tonight. We hope to
Yes.
see you again soon. I hope your little girl's okay. And we will see you all next week on Wicked Women. In the meantime, Val, you bloody well enjoy yourself.
I'll plan on it.
You do that, girl. See you later. Bye.
Bye.